Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Old Glory Garage. On this one, we're finally putting this thing together. And as you see by the battle scar damage here, I tried to MacGyver pressing in the ball joint, and eventually just had to rent the tool for it. I don't have my own ball joint pressed yet. It's on the list of tools that I need to pick up, but got pretty much everything else. It's not that. So I got to do a little touch-up paint on this, but we're just going to press in the ball joint for now, and then we'll clean this up. We made it. We've come a long way to get here. I know it's just a suspension, and we did pick it up about a year ago in the fall. Should picked it up like right before the heavy snowfall winter last year. But let's get going. First thing first, we'll power through this ball joint install. I'll touch up the paint real quick, and then we'll get into the rest of this stuff. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back. If you caught the last one, we got everything painted. We got the crossmember lowered. Now it's time to reassemble and reevaluate, make sure we have all the parts and stuff we need. Went through and organized and laid out. I don't know if you can see any of it. So all the parts by side, cleaned everything up. I'm try to reuse the brake pads on it for now. They're still alright, still a decent amount of meat on them, so just to save a little bit of money for the moment, everything seems alright. I'm gonna have rotors turned eventually. But I think I'm going to wait closer until I'm actually able to drive the truck to do that, because I don't want them just rusting bare metal for now, if I do have to leave it outside or anything. So we'll leave them covered with paint for the moment and then clean them up later. But so let's get into it. We are going to reassemble this bad boy today, and hopefully we can figure out what we're going to tackle next. I found the old list. We strayed far from the list. It's time to get back on the list. So here we go. One of the first things I'm doing here is any gunk that I got down in there, sand, dirt, debris, grit, need to get cleaned out. So little mineral spirits on a rag or paint thinner. You don't want acetone or brake clean. Depending on your paint's age, and cureness, it's a 1K or 2K paint. You aren't going to want to pull the paint off with the cleaner from this. So really just get down in there and just try to scrape all the grooves. There's different levels of grooves and grit. See some of the casting lines in there from the steel. So I clean it out good. Also, when you get it wet, air hose will be your friend. Really blow it out good. Keep trying to clean in there. Both sides, flip it over. And before we go packing these things with some grease again, these all still feel good. Nothing to catch on there. So good to go. All right, we can put our bearings back in here and then put our seal back on for this side. Then these will be ready to put back on the spindles once we get those backing plates and stuff reinstalled. Let's put them in. Alright, this next part. Get these ready, put some seals in, pack some bearings. So you'll figure the one thing I didn't mark was what side these came off of. But since I'm reusing the bearings and I knew which side the bearings came off of, you can look at the grooves or break-in marks on these and look at the bearing race in here and pretty much match them up. So this one was my driver's side, this is my passenger side. I'm gonna pack some grease. We're gonna get dirty. Cool, so got them packed. Both are good. Got the other side packed. Now it's time to dry the seals in. And then these are ready to put aside. Alright, let's get the seal. Alright, so next step, if you're doing bearings on these and you're putting new seals in, the old seals you pulled out, compare against the new seals. Make sure outer diameter is the same. And then if you didn't mess the inside up too much, just make sure the inner portion looks about the same diameter. And then also get a seal driver kit. This one's kind of a high-end one, but like the $10, $20 one from Harbor Freight will do well. Or worst case, you'll get just a very tiny hammer, smaller than this one. You can kind of work it around to get these pushed in. And seal direction on these, I'm not saying this, but other things, seals may be going this way, seals may be going this way. On this one, it's the seal side up, hold the grease in, and start those. So the seal driver I got, it's the same, pretty much outside diameter. So just get it flush with the surface. So small taps first, just to get started. And you can seat her in. So flush with the surface. That's how it should look from this side. Then we're going to flip them over and probably just grease and set the other. Well, we're going to flip these over, put them out of the way for now. And we'll come back to these later. Don't really want to put the outer bearing on yet because it's just going to fall out because there's no spindle or anything. We got to get those ready in a second. Over there. Focus on the right thing. Way over there. And we'll zoom in. Okay. So we'll get those ready. Then next, do you know what comes in handy? We don't talk about enough. It's just a spare piece of carpet. You don't have to have a nice table to protect your parts. This is an old piece of rug. It's a nice fluffy rug right here. I gotta just put the parts out of the way without clogging the bench up. So I'm gonna throw them over there for the moment. All right, next bit, we're installing the backing plates. These aren't side directional. Party foul. One thing with the backing plates, there's this rubber gasket behind it. So the rubber gasket's behind it to prevent dirt from coming and water coming up from the back and washing the bearing out. This, I'm actually going to put a little bit of Dialectic grease on it just to help, I guess, lubricate the seal. It'll make it last longer because I'm reusing the original old ones. Much right. Should help keep it lubricated and rehydrate it to an extent. You can source new ones online if you search for them. I think a lot of people don't end up putting these back in there. And there's kind of, there, we got that one. While we're greasy, we'll do the other one. Cool. All right, so we got that one. You don't have to use Loctite on these. If you wanted insurance, you can put a little bit of blue on them, but you should be fine in my opinion, as long as they're tight. Just put a little grease on it for lube. Don't want to cut any seals or anything when we put it on, so just go slow. A little lube never hurt. Alright, so those are done. Now I think we move over there and do the big part. So let's make some room and we'll get at it. Alright. I gotta get some more paint for this, but I could tape and paint this together. There might be other touch up, or I might, honestly I might switch the color of this anyway, so we'll see. Alright, so a little grease on there because it never hurt. Put the nut back on for a little protection. So this is the driver front. Start here. For these, at least on this one, 7/8. And we found a box. Sorry, Rago. So with the replacement of the shaft on these, there's a notched out part here. That actually has to line up with the control arm, or with this. So on the assembly line, they actually built this upside down and then flip it back over. I may have to do that, just because the parts are heavy. there's this one started. We'll do final torque and everything at the end. So just snug these up for now and go back later with a Q-tip, touch up the paint on them. All right, I'll do the same on the other side here. I got the next one. I had to wrap a rag around it and twist it because I couldn't do it by hand. I was also able to wipe the grease off it, but pop this boot off of here, cleaned out old grease, and then put new grease in it. It's like if the top ones ever get full, or if your ball joints ever get full, you can always take that, disassemble it, take this off, clean out that side. Also take out the grease zert, and start to pump some more through to clean it out. I can knock that up. It's prong open a little bit too far, so I gotta tap it and see if I can pop it in. Come on, U-bolt, get in your home. It's a little vise action. See, it's pushed open a little bit too far. Just squish it a little. Okay. Well. So this one's all lined up. Needs a little grease and some. I gotta hit it with a Preload and touch it up. That's what I get for using impact on it though, but it's the fastest. All right, let's verify. I have this one in the hole. Money shot. Look at that. It wouldn't be that low. It wouldn't be this low in the truck if you ever were to do air ride, because you still have to have room for a bag over here. But I think the control arm would be closer to a flat. Next up, we got uppers set in. Oh, rookie mistake. Oh, glad those are there. So we're putting these on and put control arms on. There's a notch right here that goes into these, and then your shims go behind. So those are started. Might have to put that back underneath the middle so I can do the rest of the assembly on it. And obviously we're going to lift this thing. Alright. Since it is lowered now, you don't have to compress the spring to get it in. I should just be able to lift and shove this in the pocket. See how it goes. There is a certain way that it sits in the... Now we got this set up. And we'll grab our spindles. First one, since this is driver's side again. Oh, I'm going to put some blocks underneath it, I think, on each side. Yeah, I'm going to block up the control arm or hang it off the workbench here. Let's see what we can do. So the floors is just mock up. Still gonna paint that. Oh, it is spring in there first. It's only like really heavy. That's right. All these are different sizes. The outer bearing, that is to line it up from your finger, push it in, just wiggle, wiggle and push. So we'll come back and torque these, but we have our splined washer and our nut. We'll just get it started, we'll torque it later. Okay, so I had to wiggle and push more to get it deeper. I know that's what she said, but there we go. So it was out too far, I didn't have enough threads. I was able to wiggle and push it, and it pushed the bearing quite a bit deeper with the washer. Cool, so that's kind of finger tight on there now. All right, driver's side, same concept. Protect the bearing, try to use both hands. Get that up in there. I'm gonna get a little extra grease. Put the bearing up in there. Same thing as the other side, wiggle and push. This one I got in there easier. Our spline washer. I'll show you guys in a second what this looks like. Alright, so open the hub. Here that is. Just like when we took it apart. You'll have to look for that hole and then try to spin it until you can see the hole you're supposed to go into. I don't have it anywhere near tight enough yet, but we'll show in a minute. So you'll line this up and then push the cotter pin through that and then tighten it and then put your cap in. But let's keep doing that part. Alright, you made it this far. So you made it this far. At this point, we need to torque the wheel bearing on here. You do it in 2 steps. The first step, you'll drive it in to 50 foot-pounds while you're spinning it. That kind of sets the preload for it. You'll back it off and then set it to 35. See if you can see the cotter pin hole. If you can't see it, tighten it just a little more until you can see it. Do a little hole. Alright, so there's a preload. And you'll crank it down 35. Loosens up a hair. Alright, that's 35. This should spin. Yeah. That was great. Okay. So now we gotta try to find the hole. Hey, oh, money. Look at that. There it is. So we'll put the cotter pin in through the top side, fish it in through, and then bend it. So there we go. I was able to drop it through the top. Alright, I was able to drop the cotter pin through the top. Got it in there. So there's this one. How that landed, I had to bend it up, but I'm putting just a tiny amount of grease in the cap on this, just so maybe there's a little extra in there, and then we'll seal this one up. Alright, so cap. Oh, wipe excess grease out of there before I can't fit my hand in there anymore. Cool, so that's clean. Alright, so I have our cap. Put it in, and then really, if you still had the driver tool out from earlier, so that's that. That one's all buttoned up. Now we gotta do the same thing on the other side in that cramped space over there that I made for myself. Cool. Cool. Well, maybe we'll just skip past this and you guys can, instead of seeing my back the whole time, I don't have any other good way to do a shot on this. So here it is for the next step. That's all bolted up. Alright, I got both of them buttoned up now. Next part, putting our shims back in. I was gonna need an alignment later, but it'll at least get us there for the moment. Alright, so next part, easiest way to do this without having to do a wrench from the top, because even if it's down, you can't fit a socket on it. Take the weight off, open it up, draw them in with this, and then you'll torque them after. Some people try to get by if you don't have a reason. It's hard to make it all worthwhile. 'Cause what I've got surely makes the world go round. 'Cause I got something real. Uppers and lowers for tightening. Lows go to 90, uppers go to 50. As always, I'm in the way. And that hurts. Okay, we're lined up. Alright, uppers go to 50. It's 1 16 socket for the tops, or 1 1/8 for the bottom. Good. So these are both ready for cotter pin. So we got both sides. Hey, both the tops are lined up, bottom's lined up. I just have to fight with this one, this lower one over here. Needs more pressure to hold the lower ball. I need more pressure to squeeze it, to hold the ball joint in place because it's spinning. I cleaned the threads up quite a bit on this. Was able to get the nut pretty far up and down. I was hoping I could just tighten it up and then just try to impact that on the rest of the way. First, let's secure our other ones. As usual, you guys can't see anything. Okay, everything's... I hate going top to bottom, but that's just how the cookie crumbled. You can tap that a little bit with a hammer. This side did go through the way I wanted it to. Good enough. Bottom one, need a slightly smaller pin. So before I go through and touch up some of the paint on this thing. Throw in the grease zerts. $8mm for the little guy, and a tiny wrench for the uppers. Let's keep putting you guys on there sideways. Those two, and my tiny wrenches are. Come on. The other side was easy. This one, no, not so much. Okay. Well, it's gonna bug me. There we go. On the both facing with the control arm. Cool. So those are all installed. Old ones I need to probably take out and clean. I need to order one of the kits still. Sweet. Oh man. For real. Like I wasn't already dirty, I guess. Alright, got all the grease zerts except for the bottom ones. So both the ball joints, both the control arm shafts, and then just like the reason there was so much grease in these before is they are designed to just push out over time. So it just kind of pushes out that. Just clean off what was leaking. I might need another rag. Once we get this back on the truck, we'll grease it again once we get everything moving a little bit, just to try to work some of the grease into the, especially the control arm joints. And I'll grease the bottoms here shortly once I get this thing in the air. But I think now we're going to touch the paint up real quick on it and then get this thing off the bench because it's hogging the whole workbench. Alright guys, thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thanks again for hanging out with me. It's finally time to move on to some more enjoyable fun things, like yanking the engine out, or wire wheeling the frame, or flappy disking the frame for a long time to be able to paint that. But now that this is good, probably going to get some of those little carpeted rolly carts from Harbor Freight, so I can just throw them under each side of this and roll this around for the meantime until we get ready to put this thing in and get the other one out. But that is how you lower 1.5 inches and then 2 inches out of your springs. Doesn't look too bad. I'm not too much of a fan of the shine going on here, but we may repaint this the same time as the frame so everything matches. For now it's at least protected. This stuff here, we can just scuff it. I can just shoot right over this, whatever satin black color I want. I'll just take out the springs and the spindles outward, and then just flip this up, flip that down, just to be able to paint it all. But there's this. But yeah, like, subscribe. Thanks again for joining. See you guys on the next one. We'll be pulling the engine out of the old dump truck. Let's go.